Legend tales of a place where the booze flows freely and the stories are always entertaining. If you are bold enough to seek out such a place, head 13 miles down the Tuscan Highway to a tiny blues joint known as the Townsmith Tavern. Once there, enjoy the ride. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to a UA production of Beer, Blues, and Bowl.
Excuse me, you can't say that. You're gonna lose your family-friendly rating. You're gonna corrupt the kids.
BS! A podcast that invites you to grab a cold beverage, pull up a seat, and enjoy time with friends. And here are your hosts, Howard Blues and the Mark Kidder.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Beer, Blues, and BS, the podcast with all the frenetic energy of a toddler who knows that if he stops moving, he will fall asleep. I'm your host, Howard Blues, here, as always, with my co-host, the man, the myth, the legend, the Mark Kidder. Kidder, how you doing tonight?
Oh, this thing's on. Oh, whew, here we go. Gotta get the show moving, gotta get it rolling, gotta get it going here. And we had enough pre-show energy that I'm now about here on the energy level instead of my normal here. But we're gonna get it up to here, and I've headed up to here this week, and we'll talk about that and more coming up on this show. But how the hell are you doing, Howie Blues?
You know, Kidder, I'm glad that you said that you're up to about here. I'm more like here because. Damn it, Kidder, I had to clean up the mess of another dead bird on my driveway. When are you going to get your ass over here and find this murder bird? I'm getting sick of it, man.
Hold on. Here, I'm on my way. I just need... Future Howard's probably going to make something happen with this. I'm on my way. We'll make this happen right now. No, we can't. We got to record this. I don't have... This is on a computer, so I can't just transfer it to my phone and then on the go. Whatever, it's too complicated for right now, so it's gonna have to wait again. So it's good that you're locked in your basement, so you're completely safe from the outside world.
Wow, that's all right. One of these days, Kidder. One of these days, we'll find that murder bird.
Or we'll find you laying in the driveway. one or the other. I don't know. But potentially related. So you've headed up to there. The murder bird, you're there. Are we sure it's even a bird? Is it, I mean, maybe not like a bird like you've been putting on there. Maybe a hawk, an eagle, majestic eagle, America.
I'm pretty sure it's a hawk, but you know, murder bird sounds better than hawk. I mean, let's just face it here. You know, he can get some branding, get some merchandise.
It's like a fighting
he's probably
hawk,
more
right?
popular than us.
Well, there's many things that are more popular than us, and we have that and more on this episode of Beer, Blues, and BS tonight. Because since you don't want to tell me how exactly you're doing, let's get to it. We finally come to the show where we can share that we have, with the benefit for Smalls, we had a slot for the show. Yes, a guest host slot was up for auction, and tonight is the show where we get to open it up, bring in our guest co-host, and, well, he's here right now. What's up? It's DK 5000. Did I get that correct?
DK 5000. Yes, DK 5000. Yes, or Dale. What? DK 5000 for Howard and Mark tonight. Thanks for having me. This is awesome.
Hey, absolutely.
I believe Steve will be joining us later on in the show too.
And we're excited for that too, because that means that we get to have the real real entertainment for this show, people other than the two actual hosts of the show. So thanks for joining us. Really appreciate you being here. And number one, aside from the rest of that, I just want to say, thanks for supporting Smalls. I know you were talking with us in the pre-show about knowing Smalls for a long time, and you're one of his good friends. And we approach this as like, hey, Smalls is having a benefit, and what can we do to help Smalls? I bid on a couple items, and so Smalls was benefited by that, but we were like, we should share this so then hopefully more people can donate and help him, offset his medical costs and get him into a better place. But then also, what if we put up a slot and we still have to record your custom voicemail message? So you got to tell us what you want. Because remember, that was on the second page. Smalls was supposed to put it on 2 items, but it seemed to be part as one. So you get the full benefit because you won this thing. And I have to say, I'm actually surprised that somebody bid on it. So thank you for
person to bid on it. So
man.
So I person did too. So I upped it up a little bit. So yep. Yeah, no problem.
Thanks for that. And I have one question for it before we really get going and ask you what's on tap and to introduce yourself. Was it more than $1 that you bid?
Yes, it was definitely a bit more than $1.
Awesome. Okay, you don't have to tell us the actual amount. That's fine.
$500,000.
All right. Smalls is set. Perfect.
Yep, he's golden.
But I kept telling Howard. Well, I kept telling Howard, I'm like, this is, it's up for bid, and I'm really excited. And the thing is, if it's $1, it's $1 for Smalls. I'm good because it's going to help Smalls in some way. If he buys a bottle of Coke or something, like, then he's better off than he was. So I'm happy about that. But anyway, enough about me and the show. DK 5000. Tell us about yourself. Where you hail from, what's going on in your world, all that good stuff. And then we can get to the important stuff, too, of what's on tap.
Absolutely, yeah. So, DK 5000, well, better known in town here as this. I was telling you guys on the pre-show there, I've known Steve going to the previous century. Born and raised in Grand Forks. Met Steve in Valley Middle School. We were on the 8th grade wrestling team there, and high school, and kind of worked a couple odd jobs together. Kept in touch with him over the years. Still, it's always been a awesome years. Many long gaming nights. Been to countless wrestling shows and concerts.
I'd still travel up there for like the wrestling shows and the work at the Ralph, because I worked up there for 10 years. So. Aside from my radio gigs and all that good stuff, but I'd run into Smalls or see him at a concert, and I met him originally at Bucks when he would DJ, because every, 2-3 times a week I would be there for an on location for the radio station. So I got to know him pretty well, pretty quick, and doing the Tony.
That guy could always lay down a good playlist. Oh gosh, yeah, the Tony Atlas left. Yes. Yep. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's right. Oh god, thought about that. The old Abraham Washington show. Oh, yep. Great stuff. Yeah.
And then the fact that, because I'm sure you watched the Legends House, but then he did it on Legends House too. Like, that's his laugh. I'm
that's
like, come on, dude.
Yeah. That wasn't a work. That was legit. Yeah. Tony Atlas. I'm surprised they never brought him back for like more special appearances since that I guess he had that run with Mark Henry there and didn't, but like no more of the last several years, at least not that I can think of off the top of my head. Yeah. Gosh. Yeah. I seen. Gosh. At least I know Steve. We were at this past January. So yeah, that was pretty good. I always like going to the live events too. Just bell to bell action, less hijinks.
Yep.
Yeah, I see.
I guess
I remember seeing Steve. Oh, go ahead.
No. You tell the stories. So we don't. I don't want to interrupt.
No,
you.
yeah. Yeah, Steve. I seen. Yes, I seen him so much at Bucks too over the years. Always been down. He knew a few of the bands I'd like to go out of his way, just put a few bands on all there and on the sound system. And I think back then, way back, Bucks was doing like those ridiculous like middle of the week specials. I used to have like the craziest days off, Mondays, and it was like $1 beers and $1 mini pizzas, if I remember right.
Yep.
Yeah, we'd see at least 2 or 3, was it Tuesdays a month or whatever day of the week they're running that special. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep, they had the day of the week cent beer or the day of the month cent beer. So if you went at the beginning of the month, it was 1 cent for like it was like a shot glass of beer, but it's just a little Dixie cup. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's how you're doing it. And it tasted all watered down and whatever. Like, come on. But
And he kind of got me just as within this last year, helped join up at the GFBS, Grand Forks Best Source in town, and we do weekly video game. There, we stream a few games every week. Midwest Super Pixel Pros, and awesome getting in on that and just being part of that awesome family of pop. Just I don't know if Steve's told you he does with me with a GFBS there.
I knew he joined the GFBS group, and of course with Rob or John Roberts. I worked with him since I started in radio back in the mid 2000s. So when the radio group let him go, I thought it was some bullshit, but then he just turned that bullshit into better shit, which is totally John Roberts right there. So,
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that guy's
a little bit more. Mm-hmm. You ever tell you about how he's been survived 2 plane crashes?
He told me about the one, but I don't think he told me about the second one.
Okay.
Well, the one in the small airplane. I remember where he said he busted the hit, or busted a hip.
Maybe it was just one. I also remember him coming into the radio station on I don't know how many different times where he's got stuff taped together in his hands, and he's like, "What happened? Oh, I had a nail driven through my hand today, or almost lost a thumb. Some stupid thing." I'm like, "Dude, you gotta take it easy." He's like, "I know, I shouldn't even be doing this shit. I'm in charge of these people." Like, really? You almost losing your damn hand just because of the, just bizarre stuff. But anyway.
Yeah. Other than that, big time lifelong wrestling fan, and watch. Also do a little bit of big time runner, and so get out and about where I can. So it's one on myself.
Awesome. That's good. Well, welcome to the show. Like I said, thanks again for bidding and helping out Smalls, and GFBS is Facebook and all kinds of streaming platforms, and check them out. Grand Forks Best Source, GFBS, and I'm going to make John Roberts give me the royalties on that cheap plug for him. So normally I'm cheap plugging ourselves, so I'm helping to cheap plug him.
We very much appreciate.
So the ultimate question at this point of the show, as many of our listeners and or viewers are questioning, what's on tap, DK? What do you got for us?
What's on tap? Are we talking beverages right away, or?
Oh, absolutely. Need some vocal lubrication.
Okay.
Get that going.
Right now I'm just starting off with coffee, gas station coffee. But
It happens to be
I
Howard's
definitely
favorite.
Yeah, it's holiday gas
holiday
station coffee, the best gas station
Yes.
coffee.
I like. Well, they got instant brew machines there, so you can brew it fresh right on the spot. I mean, not to give them a cheap free plug. Very, very tempting. So, but I definitely got here for later. Gonna have a Michelob Ultra later. So, but for me tonight.
No problem at all. It's not the first time Holiday's been plugged on this. In fact, if you go to this past November when I went to AEW's Full Gear in Minneapolis, the place I was staying, and when we did this wonderful show, Holiday was positioned right over my shoulder. So Howard was salivating at the thought of all that coffee that was right behind me across the interstate that he couldn't have.
Anybody who wants to go back and catch that episode, that would be episode 35 of the show. Is that an Outback? Where Kidder and I debated on a little game about what building was behind him. I still say it was an Outback, and that, yeah, there's some cheating going on.
You couldn't see it until I moved the camera. Come on. What's behind me? It was glowing for sake. I'm sorry, future Howard. You deserve that one.
We all know that Outback and AEW shows are the original show there with Chris Jericho. Oh man, I would have loved to have gone to that going to it, but things just didn't work out at the last minute. I'm gonna have to listen to that episode.
I think you get a kick out of it, at least for the two of us rambling on about random stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Just like
that
normal.
AEW, they always go all out with their shows.
It was awesome.
Since Kidder was at the show, we did do a review of Full Gear, and we actually had some of Kidder's footage because he actually took a little bit of video during the kind of the show and the entrances. So that one's out there too for anybody who's listening. Kidder, I know a couple weeks ago I said, that I had, I finished that long 7 somewhat plus-ish episodes of me drinking winter seasonal beers, and I was glad to be done. And I was actually picking up some new podcast beer. Wouldn't you know it, found another winter seasonal, and I was like, damn it.
Glutton for punishment.
Yeah. And even better, Cal, even better, you'll love this. It is a IPA. Mm-hmm. A double dry hop IPA. That's right. I got a Sierra Nevada Powder Day is what I have here. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, Kidder is already. Not a lot of information on the can. 7.7% alcohol by volume, and family owned, operated, and argued over. And that's all. No tasting notes, no nothing. So this could be good. This could be bad. We'll find out. But oh yeah, you can definitely smell the hops. Picking up a bit of citrus in there. Mm-hmm. Oh, Kidder, you would hate this thing.
It took you this long to figure that out.
Oh, it's definitely got like it. You could taste like it's got like that double hops kind of bitterness to it. But it's got a nice aftertaste of like orange to it. And actually, like, I enjoy it. This is actually pretty
bizarre good. Because you hate fruit in beer. But isn't IPA really beer?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Oh, I thought it was just crap.
I am with you. I could never come around to the IPAs.
I gotta say, as just a side note, that a guy I know, he told me this story today, and with you drinking this nasty IPA, it brings it to mind. So about 2 years ago, he started drinking the Voodoo Ranger IPA, part of the New Belgium sampler pack, but he just likes the Voodoo Ranger. not too long after that, he started like itching and breaking out, right? And went to the doctor to see. Doctor's like, just here's some cream. It's eczema or something. Like, you'll be fine. 2 years gone by, and he's still just like itching, and he's just bugging him. So he goes to a different doctor, and they took a sample, and they found it's an allergic reaction. What's he allergic to? Voodoo Ranger IPA. He hasn't drank any for like 7 days. He's feeling the best he's felt in 2 years. Oh, that's the perfect reason to not drink the Voodoo Ranger IPA. Now, the New Belgium Mountain Time, absolutely delicious. 100% Mountain Time, delicious. Drink this. Get the 12-pack, 24-pack. Drink this. It's absolutely delicious. I'm saving that for later, though.
So then what is on tap for you, Kidder? What are you going to go with? What are you pulling out of that fridge?
Should we go top shelf? Let's go top shelf. Right here. Crush! This is a raspberry sour from 10 Barrel Brewing Company. Drink beer outside, it says. It literally says drink beer outside right on the bottom. I don't feel like drinking this outside. So 10 Barrel Brewing Company, I'm going to drink this where I want to because America's the land of the free, damn it. So take that. 6.5% alcohol per volume. Score! Woo! Avalanche goal right there. That's 5-1 over the Philadelphia Flyers in the second period. I'm so amped up. It's Military Appreciation Night. Yeah! Okay. I'm probably not going to be amped up once I actually open this. I don't know. Okay, this is from Bend, Oregon. 10 Barrel Brewing Company, like I mentioned, recycle. It is not a Ball Corporation can or aluminum. The sour ale made with raspberries may contain wheat. A beer with wheat in it. Possibly. Interesting. Beer questions. You can call them if you have a question on this beer. 1-844-DRINK-10. I'm not kidding. It says it right there. Howard thinks I'm joking. Why would I joke about beer? I don't know.
We're going to instant call him on the air.
Yeah, that's all we need. Call him right now. And somebody answers. That would be the best.
Someone's going to call and be like, I got your number from a show, Beer, Blues, and BS. They thought your beer was terrible. Do you have a response? That's what's going to happen from this Kidder.
What I would ask, gosh, it just hits you right there in the nose. What I would ask is that 10 Barrel Brewing Company, if you'd like to sponsor us, you can certainly do that. Just email Howard or me or both of us. That'd be cool. And then you can sponsor Beer, Blues, and BS. You know, a show about beer. It's raspberry and it's sour, so I'll give them both of those. Woo. It's almost like, wow, I love sour stuff, but even me, I'm like, wow, that just kind of gets you to the side there. It's like, and I lost my train of thought on what I was going to say about it too. That just killed the sourness, killed the thought there. But that's what it was. I think it the taste of it is like, because it's supposed to be raspberry, but you know the sparkling duck that you get typically around the holidays, the sugar-filled, absolutely delicious carbonated beverage that looks like wine that Howard hates because he's a communist. Well, it tastes similar to that, but with alcohol. So I'm gonna give this one a 4. I'm gonna give 4 out of 5. So 10 Barrel Brewing Company, if you want to get a hold of us, go to beerbluesbs.com, and you can contact us today.
You know, Kidder, I've been fairly sleep deprived for the last weeks. I could have sworn you had already had this on the show, but I think if my memory is serving me right, it's just that you have talked about, like, you've pulled the can out and gone, I could have this, like, several times. So,
correct. For this one, I've done that exactly. So, good job following along. I have had a strawberry sour. I had the strawberry one.
Okay.
But I'm like, oh, maybe I should try this. No, we're going to save that for later. Just put it back in the magic fridge.
Yeah, I mean, my memory on past episodes tends to be pretty good, but I was sitting here thinking, but like the last 2 weeks worth of shows, Kidder, I've done on like 6.5 hours of sleep total. So I'm finally well rested. I'm feeling good tonight. This is it's good. So
your brain
on
is back
sleep
with
is always
to work.
Yeah, it's unfortunately not going to last. As any day now, baby girl will be here, and then that'll be the end of my sleep. And yeah, well, we'll get to introduce the fourth iteration of Howard. It'll be Howard the Zombie on this show. So,
Zombie Nation.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's just the mini figures that you paint behind you. That's your nation.
Actually, man, painting table's kind of done. After I finished all those leprechauns, I haven't started anything yet. So I'm sitting there.
There's still time.
I mean, listen, if you've seen the cave, there's no shortage. They're all back there. We'll get to them eventually. It'll take me years, but I'll get there.
When you said Zombie Nation, I had flashbacks to the previous original Nintendo games there is, which is a side-scrolling. I don't know if you've ever heard of, not that common of a original NES game where it's a side-scrolling shoot 'em up game, like Gradius, but instead of a spaceship, you are a decapitated head away at a post-apocalyptic America. And I'm like, how did this game get approved to come out on? It wasn't one of those black cartridge unendorsed games. It was an officially licensed game on the NES. It said Zombie Nation. It all just hit me. I'm like, oh my God, one of the trippiest NES games there is.
I had never heard of that. And now I want to go look it up. So, All right. And for the audience,
have you ever been into the
still have a few
shooter games?
Not that one, but in fact, I think that might be the first time I've heard of it or that I can recall. But I just pulled up a little bit, and this is interesting because it's the year.
Oh gosh!
Apparently, 1999. Is this the game that you were talking about?
Yep. Oh my gosh. Nevada Desert turned out to be Dark Seed. Yes. Yeah, it had the weirdest premise to set it up. Yeah. Scrolling wall of text. Yep. Turned the nation into zombies, brought the statue. Oh my gosh, yeah.
Dude, it's dirty work. Oh man.
Yes.
It's like a reaction video to watching this, because I'm sure this is the first time in, 25 plus years that you've seen this, right?
It's been a while, yeah. 4 or 5 years ago, I want to say, but I do not remember the little of the whole premise of the big setup for it. I remember more of the end game of just the decapitated head, this freaked out head just blowing. Yeah.
The evil clutches of Dark Seed, but it's not quite dark because it's with a C.
Yes. Oh gosh.
And it's a samurai game.
Oh man.
Yeah. Samurai Zombie Nation.
Oh man.
Let's see.
Yeah, I don't know if it's possible to jump in.
There it is.
A little bit here.
Look, there you go.
Man. For the audio listeners, we are watching, a giant decapitated head that seems to be shooting stuff out of its mouth.
Like shooting fireballs, and it's blowing up tanks and buildings, and it's.
Are we sure that he's the good guy in this?
Yeah.
Seems.
Let's,
Yeah.
How do you beat
It's
it?
like America's, a core pre-scroll. The America's turned into zombies, and this guy's rescuing us from the zombie scourge.
Yeah, World
Zombie
Trade Center.
Zombie.
I closed it too early.
Oh yeah.
Interesting. All right,
Like
sorry
NES,
to
dude.
sidetrack you there.
Oh, that was worth the sidetrack. It does mean a little bit more work for future Howard because he'll have to do some work on that. But yeah, especially for the audio listeners. But don't worry,
Worth it. It was the first result when I searched for it, so it should be good.
Oh yeah, that was a game.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
All right. Well, Kidder, it wouldn't be an episode of Beer, Blues, and BS if we didn't talk a little bit about wrestling. And
I'd say we'd almost change the name of the show to Beer, Blues, Wrestling, and BS, but then it just isn't Triple B anymore. So,
no, we'd have to change the show name to something more along the lines of Whiskey, Wrestling, and Whispers.
Yes, because a lot of television shows have a lot of dialogue that's about like this. So, you're right, Howard. Let's talk about wrestling for a little bit, because DK5000 is really into wrestling, and I don't want to get him too excited because he might not whisper through this segment. I started a gamble for like 6 hours just to find myself.
I'll do my best to continue on. You're awesome. Alliteration. I'll try and do. I'll do my. A lot of good wrestling stuff to cover. So much to cover. No, I can't. But oh my gosh, the road say is coming fast upon us. What is your guys' psych level as we're just like weeks away to WrestleMania weekend? 2-day WrestleMania weekend. How do you like WrestleMania being 2 days now for
the most stupendous WrestleMania ever? Yes.
The ultimate thrill ride.
The ultimate thrill ride happened when it was in Orlando because they had the roller coaster behind them. If you remember, that was the thrill ride. You ride that, watch your career die. So Howard and I have talked during the shows, and we're like, it's 2 days because it's not as easy as it used to be for us to get together and 2 days, sweet. We get 2 days to hang out. We can drink all day and have fun. No, now it's like, well, I don't know if I can make it down. I mean, at least it's Saturday and Sunday, so I might be able to make like an hour on Saturday, but maybe 2 hours on Sunday. Like being a fan and going to it, absolutely. When I went to WrestleMania 30 in New Orleans, all of the activities leading up to it, because we got there the Wednesday before WrestleMania and left the Wednesday after. So they had a bunch of activities in the area where we could go to, like WrestleMania Access, and they had random pop-up shops, and you could see the superstars walking around the area and just enjoy, the whole fun of such a large event with 85 or 7,000 people there. I mean, and a huge extravaganza of a thing. And then we went to Monday Night Raw, and that's actually when Paige won her first Divas title off AJ Lee as she debuted on Raw. So it was really cool to see that. But going to all of that almost would be kind of tiring. So yes, stretch it out over 2 days, but now they made each day longer. So you're like, all right, I got to sit through 7 hours of this. And then you have 14 hours of wrestling in 2 days. I mean, that sounds awesome, but the quality of it is, to me, watered down. What do you guys think?
Kidder,
I'm with you, 1,000%.
Kidder, I was going to say, being that it's supposedly the biggest show of the year, and I don't want people to always think that we're just knocking WrestleMania for how long it is. So I've been working on my excitement level. Yay.
It's up there.
Outstanding.
It's up there. Yeah.
I know.
That's
No, yeah, I'm with you.
tremendous reaction right there.
It could be. I think I had to stretch it out over a few nights. It's getting to be, because I still year one. I think I want to say went about 3.5 to maybe 4 hours. One night went 3. The other one went almost 4. And though it seems these last few can get pretty good at hitting that 3-hour just right spot there. As the Elimination Chamber Middle East show went like just under 3 hours. This is going to be like one of their big 4.5 hour super duper cards that they've been their last few shows. So that was very nice. I'm hoping, because I think they only advertised 5 or 6 matches for both nights, and I know for both nights there's matches I'm really looking forward to, because they're doing a pretty good job at advertising what match each night, and I'm really curious to see what they're advertising Cold KO show segment to be. It seems like they want to say it's going to be a match. Quite, I'm thinking, I'm being led to believe that it's going to start off as a KO show and they turn into an impromptu little brawl mini match. Do you remember how they did that for Rock, and that turned into like an 8-second match like several years ago? I'm thinking something like that, or maybe something. I don't know. How are you guys excited for what they're doing with Stone Cold, and are you just getting our hopes up?
It's a nostalgia pop. I mean, oh hell yeah for me, but it is a big nostalgia pop, and of course, being in Texas, you gotta bring in the big guns when you're down in Texas. I agree with watching the Elimination Chamber when they were in Saudi Arabia, and that being 3 hours and change or whatnot, and it being super interesting, but also not taking your entire day to watch it. I really feel like the quantity of matches almost needs to be less, and the quality of matches needs to be a lot higher. Make it the build up. We've talked about it on the show before, but you go back several years or decades and the big match feel, because they kept these two people apart, but they're feuding with each other, and they beat the crap out of this person to show them that they mean it, and they beat the crap out of that person to get back at them, and the people related, and they're going after everybody around them, and they're just building up this tension. Like, I want to see them fight, and you get to see it at WrestleMania, and this is going to be sweet. One example: Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair. It's going to be the main event for Saturday, I believe. And they're trying to build it up and make them feud, but I know Ronda Rousey could snap Charlotte Flair in half in about 30 seconds. So this isn't really a build-up for me. Ronda Rousey will probably win. I'm calling it now. A week in advance. I think I called that 2 months ago too. But anyway, different things like that. Or how about this? Cody Rhodes. Yes or no? Does he debut at Mania? Because the sources say he's debuting at Mania. What do you think, DK?
Yeah, it seems to be leaning that way. I know on the last Raw, they had to the crowd a little bit by kind of semi-acknowledging the Cody Rhodes chant, saying fun. So it appears that, like I say, the rumors, the brewing, it's highly indicating that Cody Rhodes is officially signed. So I'm thinking that's going to be a possibility with Seth and Cody at Mania. Like, as ridiculous as it is, the storyline for building up Seth not having a match crusade by trying to steal Kevin Owens and everybody else's spot to get a Mania it's been a fun just train fiasco wreck. I'm hoping it does. I'm leaning towards that. It's gonna happen.
It's like what they did with John Cena a few
and then
years ago. Oh, John Cena doesn't have a match at WrestleMania. Well, I just bought a ticket, and then he hops over the rail and gets involved in a match. You remember that one? He's just hanging out, drinking beer, taking
Undertaker,
selfies
right?
with people.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Gosh.
It was he got called to the back, and then I forget who, but he came out and basically jobbed somebody, and then the Undertaker showed up as Cena was about to leave, because they tried to fool the audience because everybody knew that it was Cena Taker, so it was they're trying to fool you a little bit with that. I think Rhodes is showing up with as much buildup as they have for it. It'd be a pretty big mistake for him to, wait until Monday to debut. You might as well debut him there. I saw one commentator who said it's going to be like what they did with the Hardys a couple of years ago when the Hardys came back and were in the ladder match and won the titles right off the get-go. So that's what one source I saw was
in
saying.
that moment for both of us. We were like, look at that. The friggin' Hardys are back. That was a big moment. And the fact that there were maybe 5 people who knew, including the Hardys, awesome. This Cody Rhodes situation, come on. Really? It's just like CM Punk and Bryan Danielson debuting in AEW. You tell one person and they tell 5, and then 5 more people tell 20 more people, and then everybody knows. And it's purely speculation, folks. No, it's not anymore. We know that it's going to happen. The question is when. They're going to Chicago next week. What could happen in Chicago? I don't know. Whatever. I was still excited for CM Punk to show up. It doesn't matter. I just watched it live because I knew it was going to happen.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. The crowd reaction for that was just through the roof. I loved it. It was a great moment. Biggest match I can't believe I'm actually saying I'm probably the most anticipating is and time they're happening at the Clash at WrestleMania. It's the time in both their career both characters are where they need to be. Of course, talking about Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns is just absolutely killing it as just this nonstop, just indestructible villain for near years. And I never thought Brock Lesnar would be this over with the crowd as the face. And I'm just loving the promos he's doing with the cowboy hat and his cowboy cutoff vest. And yeah, I am very, very excited to see those two go at it at Raw.
Yeah, that is probably the match that I'm most interested in seeing. Just because at this, it's got a good enough question of who's going to win. There's enough reason for both of them to win, and that's when it's a good match. When it's not that easy. Kidder and I, for every pay-per-view, have done predictions. It's kind of our fun little game. We predict who's going to win, and really, it's always a little sad when one of us hits hey, I got 9 out of the 10 matches, because it's just that predictable. I like the ones where it's ooh, gosh, it could go either way, and I think they've built that. I know I talked about it in a past episode of this show, but if you haven't seen, Brock Lesnar was on the Pat McAfee show and did a 45-minute interview, and you can find it on YouTube. Fantastic, because he talks about where he's at in his career, and he talks about how this time around he's just having fun. He's being himself. He's not worried about being kind of just the silent monster that he's been most of his career. He is just out there having fun, and it's clearly resonating with people. But that was a really good interview, and well worth the 45 minutes to check it out. So,
and we get to see Farmer Brock from Saskatchewan going out and kicking ass and throwing hay bales. I mean, and then after he's done, he goes out to the bar and drinks and takes selfies with people. I mean, hilarious, right? He's actually getting to be the person that he is instead of just the ass kicker, and he goes out and has to scare everybody and beat everybody up. Although, DK, did you end up going to the, what the hell was it called? The winter thaw or winter meltdown at the Ralph? It was the UFC house show that the Ralph hosted. Would have been maybe 2011, something like that. Does it ring a bell for you?
Where Brock Lesnar was a special guest.
He was the host of the event.
I believe I saw it. I couldn't believe it because I don't remember it being like an official UFC event. So, but maybe that probably explains why I was there. I thought it was independent regional MMA thing, but I still got the bill for it, the poster for it, because it's like special guest Brock Lesnar. I'm like, wow, coming here, and he cut a promo, and in the middle of the show, reflected back on the UND and Golden Gophers rivalry, and he had a good laugh with the crowd. So I remember it was, I think, one of his sabbaticals for when he was in the midst of fighting diverticulitis, and he gave a good kind of nice local regional promo for the crowd, got the crowd pretty excited. And in the middle of two, when, Brock, outside of, the Red River Valley region or the Dakotas, were known from hailing that outside of that area, he's kind of known kicker badass no one wants to mess with. And when the announcer said, and Brock Lesnar's for intermission will be at the table, I'm like, I don't want to get his autograph. He's going to rip my head off. But yeah, awesome. I was like, oh my gosh, Brock Lesnar showing Grand Forks some love. I'm all about it. And
I believe he was shit-faced during it, but that's just what I heard. I cannot confirm. I know his beard was about up to here. It was as big as his muscles. So it was good to see. I could see it from the nosebleeds, the radio tickets that I got, but other WrestleMania, thoughts of the upcoming event. I mean, for me personally, one of the bad things I think that they did is to remove the WrestleMania Access and just open it up to a WrestleMania Access store. So yes, the store is there so you can buy all of your stuff, which is great because I loaded up when we were in New Orleans. All the CM Punk stuff I pretty much got there. And then that's, of course, when right after CM Punk left WWE, which was super agitating, which is also why I ended up going to AEW Full Gear, because it was his first pay-per-view and it happened to be in Minneapolis, so I could easily go. Anyway, the Access event was awesome to see because there's all kinds of replicas there, the robes and different apparel, titles that were used in other promotions that ended up being merged into WWE's umbrella. Got to meet talent. Like I mentioned, met Big E, got his autograph and a photo with him. R-Truth photograph and autograph from him. And then met Booker T, got a photo and an autograph from him. I mean, there's all this. And plus, we were this far away from the WWE Network desk as they were doing live cut-ins on the network from there. So you go back, of course, it's probably not available now because it's all on the effed up Peacock network. But when it was the network, you could go back and you could watch the replays of the stream. And then you saw us all standing there just doing the stupid face right behind the commentator, Jerry Lawler and Josh Matthews and whoever else was there that ended up getting fired 5 years later, that sort of thing. But just stuff, WrestleMania history, wrestling history, interactive events where, like, we have the video where I was able to do, all of us did it, but you, if you went, could do the entrance. You pick from 8 different wrestlers, 8 male wrestlers and like 5 female wrestlers. So you could pick your entrance. You go up on the ramp, they play the music and the video and the lights start flashing like they would. And it's this mini entrance ramp and they record it. And then they give you a QR code, you scan it and you get a link in your email. And then you can download the video. So I have that floating around somewhere, just
what was your entrance song?
It was very limited. So my 2 choices would have been Stone Cold or CM Punk. They didn't have either of those. They had The Undertaker, John Cena, Triple H, maybe HBK. I can't. There were obviously a few others, and then from the Divas end of it, they had let's see, would have been the Bellas, Paige. They had hers. Who else? Gosh, I'm trying to remember who was big around then. But I mean, it was a very limited selection. So even if you were anywhere close to where that was set up in this giant area, you'd hear about the same entrances over and over. So mine, I believe, was Triple H. I came out as did the, and all that. The
Some water,
fake spray. Yep. They wouldn't let me bring the water bottle back there though. So I don't know. I feel like I was.
Did they still have
robbed.
matches going on for Access around that time? I won't say previous Accesses they had. Like, I know the one I went to, FCW was still a thing, and they were doing FCW, and so that was a lot of fun to see, like Seth Rollins and Damian Sandow matches before they got called up to WWE. So yeah, that was and a lot of the things you like with like the entrances, that was a lot of fun. Some meet and greets, and there's a couple other things in there too for Access that was really cool. Like they had the Undertaker's graveyard with like the listings.
Yep.
All the people he beat on gravestones, and Paul Bearer was still with us at the time, so meet and greets there too. So yeah, that was awesome.
And on top of they had that Undertaker thing too, and one of the guys that was with us when we went down there laid down in between 2 of the graves because all the smoke was there, and then I recorded him because you couldn't see him, and then he pops up out of it kind of like the Undertaker and does the thing. It was cool for our stupidity, so that was worth it. But all the stuff that you were talking about, yeah, absolutely. And this is right before they did the Legends House. So they had a mock-up of part of the Legends House, and that's where I got to meet Howard Finkel for the first time. And who else was in there? The Mouse of the South, Jimmy Hart was in there. He was there too. So yeah, I missed that, and I wish they were doing that. So I think people going to the 2-day stupendous abomination of WrestleMania are missing out because they're going to this event and they don't have access to Access.
Oh, I was just going to say, just to clarify 2 things. One, Kidder keeps saying I wasn't there. And if you ever wondered why Howard never talks about his WrestleMania memories, Howard's never been to WrestleMania because fiscal responsibility. So just to throw that out there and save future Howard some typing if people are wondering why Howard is just quietly sitting here.
Because he was invited. He couldn't go. We got the doke to go along, and he was there, and the 4 of us had a good time. And I say us, still waiting for my money from one of the other people who, whatever. It's neither here nor there. It's a stupendous time of the year. It's WrestleMania.
Real ride. Yes. No, I was gonna bring up about how the other ancillary independent event that go around WrestleMania, that independent shows like to bounce off and piggyback off that weekend. When I went for I think it was 2012 around WrestleMania 28, it was already starting to get into that full swing where ROH did a show. I think at the time it was not Evolve. It was before that. Dragon Gate USA did a show. I caught a couple of those, and now the last several years are bringing back WrestleCon or WrestleCade with a ton of non-WWE talent, independent stars, a lot of autograph sessions, a lot of meet and greets, kind of like the unofficial access. This will be kind of like an unofficial version of access going on there. And from my understanding, I believe it's pretty priced too. So, and like there's like a ton of like more and more independent shows riding that wave of WrestleMania a weekend there just to get whatever they can off it. And I guess that kind of goes hand. I had to bring up too with how do you think AEW will shape their version of Ring of Honor? Ring of Honor that's how they are now owned by AEW from a few weeks back. Their only officially booked show they booked out still before they were acquired by AEW was WrestleMania weekend, their Super Card of Honor show, which most years has WrestleMania weekend. Usually they bring out a lot of New Japan talent and stuff like that. So I'm kind of curious. I think AEW will use ROH going ahead. If you think it'll be like a indie super show of ROH years before, or like maybe that we may see like a new for what AEW has in mind for their version of ROH.
Couldn't tell you what I think they're going to do with it, because now if you're Tony Khan, you now have a venue. You know, do you promote the ROH guys who, not to say that they don't have talent, but there's a reason the company got sold, you know, or do you promote some of your own talent, which you have been successful with, or do you do a combination of both? So I'm going to guess that you would see quite a bit of AEW's presence at Honor, probably, especially using the talent that they have with Ring of Honor past. So you might see like Bryan Danielson would be a good choice. Even CM Punk, both of them were known for their Ring of Honor time. You know, that would be big and would easily guarantee
both in
that
the ROH Hall of Fame now. So,
yes, yeah.
I think that would be about the same thing there with try and plan stuff perhaps in the area. In fact, Dynamite was in Austin this past Wednesday, and it just happens to be the week and a half before WrestleMania, right? Kind of coincidence there. Well, I'm sure there's some people who trickle down, make a 2-week vacation out of it, go see this wrestling promotion, that wrestling promotion. So just like what you're saying, DK, all of them plan something in the general area because they're going to get wrestling fans to show up. Oh, yeah, this is going on. Well, hell, I'm not doing anything. We got 6 hours until something else. Let's go check that out. Why not? And that's kind of what we did to go to see Monday Night Raw. We didn't get tickets. Went on one of the resale ticket verified places, and well, they're this much, and we're sitting in the 20th row from the ring. You want to go? Okay. Well, I just bought the ticket, so I guess we're going. It's like,
heck yeah.
And it was
close, not too far back. Yeah, those Raws after Mania
and
are
it was
always
the night. Yeah, they're crazy. That was the night before Ultimate Warrior died.
Oh gosh, yeah. Oh man, that cryptic Warrior delivered. Oh my gosh, I've heard that. I must have watched that at least several times over the. Still, yeah, that is just unbelievable the way that all played out with Warrior.
And did he know?
Yeah, and
did he feel
I guess
something was weird? All that. Yep.
Yeah, and I guess one thing I'm that for ROH, if they do it at Supercard, I hope they do it. I hope they don't hold off on it. I know they teased it at Final Battle with a surprise. I would love to see the Briscoes versus FTR. I think that would just be hands down. Just those two would just clash and have awesome chemistry in the ring, and it winds up to the Briscoes going to AEW. I'd be all for it because those two guys definitely deserve good paydays. They've been just tearing themselves up ever since the debut year of ROH. So yeah, they have some good paychecks long.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see where some of that Ring of Honor talent end up and how much gets signed by AEW, how much ends up flowing to some of the other indies and such. We know Strowman and EC3's new promotion is up and going, so they're going to be looking for talent as well. So there's opportunities. If you have any sort of talent, you'll find a place to wrestle these days.
I was just thinking of other things related to AEW, Ring of Honor, and fitting into WrestleMania. So you take over with your train of thought, because it's better than what mine was.
Oh no, I was gonna say like the last wrestling thing I had for it was that I just saw this dropped out of nowhere without really any hype, or at least I didn't see much hype for it. Yes, Peacock, they got a new, or WWE Network on Peacock, however you want to refer to it. They docu-series, just a cold drop, all 8 episodes. It's just called Evil, and it's just villains from over the years. And I only caught like half of the first episode, but it's like at 8 episodes, and each episode's featured on a big wrestling villain or heel. Like the first episode's Hulk Hogan, and then another one's Ric Flair. Randy Orton has one. Stephanie, of course, has one. Roman Reigns has one. And at least from the first half episode I saw, it seems like they're really trying to, at least like the last few docu-series and documentaries that doing that. It's like that WWE 24 style production where they're really trying to mimic ESPN 30 for. And I really like it. It's kind of like a fresh take from their traditional WWE style home documentaries, which I was a big fan of those too. But this seems to have a better, just like best of both worlds for hardcore fans and just kind of newer viewers too. I don't know if you've seen any of those 20 reviews for Evil.
Haven't watched any of the long form promos for it or anything. I've just seen a couple photos or an article here and there. Like, oh, that's interesting. Talk about the heels like that. I think it has some merit to expand the documentary and legitimacy world of WWE a little bit more. Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm going to try and binge watch it.
Kidder, not to interrupt the wrestling talk, but I just got a message here from Big D, and I quote, "For the record, you're probably recording right now, and I'm watching episode 51 at this moment. I officially raise my IPA to Kidder to spite his horseshit Irish accent." So
that sounds like a personal problem to me. I mean, you might want to get that checked. Go see your local doctor. Get that checked. You might have something stuck where it's not supposed to.
I just had to share because it cracked me up because it popped up that he had sent me a message. I'm like, well, he hardly ever sends me a message. So what is this? And the fact that he's actually watching the episode that came out just tonight. That's great. That's great.
Now I know in the notes, and we talked about Ultimate Warrior. May he rest in peace. But of course, recently losing Razor Ramon, Mr. Scott Hall, and you wanted to chat a little bit about that there, DK?
Yeah, gosh, yeah. I don't know if you guys already touched on your pre. Since I think it was just like a little over a week ago when he passed, but no, just one of the greatest when growing up from my childhood. Like the Intercontinental Champion when I was growing up, and in like the mid '90s there in WWE. A lot of great matches with him. Of course, bringing the ladder match to dominance in America. With those classic Shawn Michaels ladder matches. Loved those. Loved his other members. Anytime when he was wrestling anyone from the Clique, like 1, 2, 3 Kid, and the Diesel, that SummerSlam '94 match against Diesel. I must have watched that way times. He had Walter Payton by his side, and do you remember he had that god awful, awesome '90s yellow Razor Ramon T-shirt with his head taking up 3/4 Remember that? Oh my gosh, it was so bad. It's good. I think the WWE even brought it back shirt to buy again like a couple of years ago. I was pretty close to picking it up, but I held off. I from their website today, but that was another great memory. And of course, WCW, he made wrestling cool again with at least in the mainstream, WO, and just the way that skyrocketed. And of course, for my era, it was like that was when the NWO blew up, and it seemed like every other kid in high school, a NWO shirt, a DX shirt, a Goldberg shirt. Yeah, it was, very good memories. I also remember him from getting one of the few quality Goldberg, and that what you don't really hear talked about a lot nowadays, but he had a good Goldberg, I thought. The taser stick on a pole match because he ruined the end of he helped ruin the undefeated streak in WCW. And then I guess one other Scott Hall memory was when he came back to WWE there with that, when they brought back the injection poison into the WWF courtesy of Vince McMahon, that they brought WO. It only lasted for a few months, but he fought an organ where The Rock sold a really good stunner, but it was so ridiculous and over the top that it was just own unique thing. But the way Scott Hall did it, the way he bounced back, it still lives on in my memories to this day. And I mean, above all else, I guess on a serious note, Scott Hall, of course, we all know about the side of Scott Hall with his vices and his demons going through that. But to see him, he and Jake the Snake turn things around and get his life back together there, that was a heartfelt story. And just like for like the last decade or so, just have a really, really much improved quality going sober there and just kind of just getting his life back, coming back for that awesome Hall of Fame speech, one of the better top tier Hall of Fame speeches that countless times on WWE television, that on that for those and just doing a bunch of other special appearances this past decade. So I thought really liked how he turned things around. My Scott Hall memories.
Absolutely. I wish he would have got things turned around a little bit earlier, because then I'm in some potential. I'm sure he would have been with us a little bit longer, although having 3 heart attacks and hanging on just long enough to have your family say goodbye, that can happen to pretty much anybody. I mean, it's understandable. So it would have been cool to have him along for the ride even longer, but he will live on forever in our memories. So
do you guys have a favorite Razor Scott Hall match?
For me, it was tough because I didn't watch WCW and even the older WWF stuff. I wasn't into wrestling when they were doing all of his original stuff. So it turned into, just watching the historical stuff, and here's clips of this or clips of that. So I didn't get to sit and enjoy it in a first run. Like, man, this match is awesome. But and they would bring back the NWO stuff back in the 2000s after WCW invaded, and the shticks here and there. Yeah, I just enjoyed the back and forth in the NWO, and that's really the only things that I can remember, aside from seeing him take the stunner and then go flying into the 5th row. I mean, this is classic. But Howard has a little bit more, I don't want to say experience with some of the classic stuff, but maybe he's got a favorite.
Well, and that's because back when WWE Network was a thing, I used to just sit. I actually was working my way back through like the old Raws, and then when I get to the pay-per-view, I'd watch the pay-per-view. So I was kind of like watching it from that time period. But I mean, that whole storyline was great. And of course, you mentioned him earlier, but the ladder matches against Shawn Michaels, which were kind of the big change to how a ladder match works. And have you ever seen a ladder match before those two? Ooh, those are painful to watch. So yeah, he did a lot to help grow and evolve wrestling. So really, yeah, you can go back and watch just about any of his matches from the old days, and they're pretty good. So, yeah.
100%.
The other thing with that is you mentioned the taser on the ring post match or touch all four corners or whatever gimmicky things. So back in my day when we were younger and mostly dumber, we would do, of course, basement wrestling or backyard wrestling. We would have our own gimmicky stuff in the North Dakota Wrestling Federation, better known as NDWF, or Lincoln Entertainment Wrestling, the LEW, because you have to get the C out for the Lincoln Championship Wrestling. Of course, that was with the get the F out transition. So take you into the time period. We had a character, Justin is his name, but he was Ultimo Justin, and it was a cross between like Gundam type stuff and his personality. And so he would drink Pepsi and it would get him Ultimo'd up, and he'd get all crazy. So one of the gimmick matches that we had was the Pepsi on the post match. And you had to climb the turnbuckle to get the 2 liter of Pepsi to win the match. And the turnbuckle was a folding chair. There were 4 folding chairs around, and the Pepsi was sitting on a shelf on the wall. So when, of course, you wanted to climb the turnbuckle, you couldn't just hop onto the chair and get it. You had to first get down onto your knees and then climb up onto the chair like you're slow motion, because that makes sense, right? It's just like the slow climb on the ladder. Just classic NDWF. So just thankful that didn't break my neck the 2 times I got the pile driver and had my neck take a 90-degree turn because I slipped down a little bit. So I'm happy I'm not a paraplegic or anything like that. Upright, my brain mostly works, although Howard would beg to differ on a lot of that. So let's continue talking about wrestling a little bit. I see questions on here, like the Hardys. I've been watching them. In fact, I sent Howard a clip from this past Wednesday's Dynamite. Did you get to see that, DK, from AEW Dynamite this week? The Tornado Tag match?
Yep. Yeah, Tornado Tag. Yeah, they're mixing it up there with the a Butcher and the Blade, I believe, right? It was like the 8-man, right? Sting and Dark.
Yep.
Yeah. The Hardys, and I see Matt. It looks like Matt Hardy's a trip in AEW. He keeps switching up his personalities so much with the whole woke and Big Money Matt, and now that Jeff is back, he's back to extreme Matt Hardy. And with the and like the way he got his hair, like it's 1999 again, and yeah, I'm still like a little bit surprised, even though I believe it's public domain. We're still using that old school Hardy's WWF music, so they definitely got that pop going. Yeah, you could tell they don't, they're a step or two not as quick. They can still hit most of their stuff, especially Jeff. So, yeah, it's and the stuff he's been doing. I kind of got kind of piggybacking off that. He's 60. Like the spots on last week and this week's Dynamite, back-to-back weeks, Sting jumping over through the top rope, off the guardrails through a pile of tables. Holy cow! But yeah, it was a really great, really great fun match.
Like Sting last month or maybe even 2 months ago when he was up on the vomitory and took that leap across and blasted through 3 sets of tables. I was like, dude, you're gonna hurt yourself. Stop. You're nuts. But of course he's in better shape than I am, so you go for it, Sting. You keep kicking ass. He's just rolling.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Sting, I give him props. That's just, even just like as recent as years ago, he did that match with Seth Rollins on pay-per-view where, of course he had that bad injury maybe until like 4 or 5 minutes before that injury for like the first like 12, 14 minutes of the match, like doing top turnbuckle leaps through the table, and he was like going toe for toe with Seth there for a good match. And yeah, he must. I don't know what the heck his conditioning program is, but it's really good stuff for being in a bit into his 60s.
Yeah, and his birthday was right before that too. I think when they said that he was going to fly or when he flew off the table, and they're like, hey, "Sting just had a birthday, man. Are you trying to make it to your next birthday? What's going on?" So yeah, I mean, it's every week is amazing to just watch the talent, and we've talked about it on the show, but just to give you an idea, to catch you up to speed with it, when CM Punk debuted, that's really when I just watched AEW to see what it's all about. And I really got into it because to me, it's a little bit more old school in my wrestling world of the late 90s, early 2000s feel of professional wrestling for WWE. You know, not quite the Attitude Era, but there's a lot that's being drawn in, I feel. And if you want to see some of that, go check out a lot of our older episodes, because you can find out all kinds of stuff where we talk about it for a long time. But watching the product back and forth, I find myself watching SmackDown or Raw in about the time that AEW has a match. So we're talking 15 minutes, maybe 20. Where I'll watch the 3-hour or 2-hour shows in that amount of time. I'll watch the talking points, quick fast forward. Hey, that was kind of neat. Fast forward. But then I watch AEW later, and I sit through 75+% of each of the shows. Do you find yourself doing about the same?
Almost exactly the same. For the last few months, almost all of AEW, except for maybe 10 to 15% of it, where if they're like going through like promo packages, which they have very little of, or there's a couple wrestlers I'm not a fan of in AEW. I watch almost like around 80 to 90% of every episode. But SmackDown, and up until a few months ago, Raw, I would watch at least the Hulu version of. It was 90 minutes. It was a more condensed, cut out more of the filler, and that was pretty convenient. But for SmackDown, unless it was like a rarely, there'd be like a couple of SmackDowns where it'd be like a cannot miss show. But for the most part, SmackDown and Raw, I've been watching just the YouTube highlights for each match, and just watching the YouTube highlights for each segment on the show. I'll watch all the, because they usually get a highlight from each segment, each match, each interview segment. Both shows in about SmackDown, I could get through in about 35-ish, 35, about 45-ish minutes, about, give or take a little bit. And that pretty much all the entrances. I mean, you only see a few minutes from each match, but it makes it's such a quicker watch. Enjoyable that way.
Yeah. And I just, in fact, tonight, before I came down here to get this set up for everything that we're doing, I finished Dynamite from Wednesday because I'd started it and I had other stuff, so I had to leave it where it was on, last night. But I finished Dynamite, so then I'm like, okay, we'll start SmackDown. Get through. Okay, I'm already half an hour in, 45 minutes in. What's this? Play Lesnar. Yeah, Roman better get here because I'm waiting and I'm going to keep smashing stuff. Okay. And fast forward, and now I'm at the live point where it's 8:25 or so, and there's still over half an hour left. I'm like, well, I'll watch it later in 5 minutes or less because gotta go. Whatever. And then Rampage this week is supposed to be a huge show with some great matches on there. And, it just, what they're doing is more interesting to me personally. And Howard and I talked about it and compared the rosters even. AEW is bloated almost, where they have 100 talent signed, where WWE per show have, 35 to 45, somewhere in there? Wasn't it, Howie?
It's 35 or less. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, well, that's why you see the same thing and the same storylines. And well, these 4 tag teams are now fighting each other because there are 4 tag teams. What a great division that you have going there. And that's, I think, one thing I'm excited about for WrestleMania is the rejoining, or I guess it'd be a newly joining because they were completely separate before, but the top 2 titles being joined into an undisputed main title so that they can hopefully elevate and then start getting some of those set up. What? You're shaking your head. You don't like that? Don't like that idea?
No, just every commentator I've heard, Kidder, and what they've been hearing from WWE is that the unification is going to be short-lived and that they will be back to 2 main titles. So I hate to crush your spirit, but it sounds like this is purely done for the gimmick of winner takes all, and then it'll go back to the way it was. So sorry, should I have said spoiler before that? I don't know. That's
kind of like how Becky Lynch
Howard,
won 2 titles.
Future Howard can do that.
Yeah, very much that's that same mentality. So somebody will get it, and then I don't know if it'll be a loss, if they'll strip them of the title, if they'll vacate. I don't know, but that's what everybody is saying, is that the current philosophy of the WWE and their booking and what everybody's hearing is that WWE needs 2 main titles. So, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it makes sense if they're going to keep the rosters separate.
With you mentioned Becky 2 belts. We got to, the missus and I got to go to the Royal Rumble in Phoenix. So that would have been 2019, or was it 20? I'd have to look at the shirt that says I was there to remember again. I think it was 3 years ago, so that'd be like 2019. But anyway, she was Becky 2 belts then, and it was quite the interesting thing to see, for Raw and SmackDown and the Rumble, and how it played into that. Or I should say she was 2 belts right after it or something. And whatever, she was the man. And then I got the man shirt because I'm the man, the myth, the legend. So it just all worked out.
Yeah. Becky is still, it's glad to see she's still got it. She hasn't lost a step since she's came back. And she's totally on fire as a villain. Even though the crowd still, you could tell the crowd's still like behind her. It seems like they're also behind being a villain at the same time, if that somehow seems plausible, because it's for a couple weeks there too, because she had that freak neck injury where she lost her vocals for like a couple of weeks. I'm blanking on who injured her neck, but
Bianca Belair,
freaky thing. But it sounds like she's getting her voice back. Oh God, was it her braid that did? Gosh,
yeah. Because Bianca was whipping her with the braid, and it was across the midsection, and it immediately bruised. I'm like, how are you having a match? She's using it as a weapon. She's disqualified. She's done. Stop the damn match. That woman's got a family. Stop the damn match. But nope. She won the match and then got bruised, and she got all messed up, and a legitimate injury. Like, this is obviously kind of stupid. So, but that's kind of my thoughts on AEW, WWE, wrestling as a whole, all of that good stuff. You had any final thoughts on what you are hoping for maybe the future, next 6 months maybe, of the wrestling world? Any debuts, or hoping certain people retire or get fired or something?
Oh gosh, well I know usually after Mania, Brock Lesnar usually takes several, but I really hope WWE ponies up to whatever his asking price, keeps on riding this momentum, because it seems like he definitely has a lot more to give. And if he takes his post-Mania sabbatical, so that is one of the first things that comes to mind. AEW, I really would like to see him have established for like maybe merge the dark and dark elevation shows into like a ring of, if they're going forward with, and it seems like that Tony Khan has been hinting that it's going to be their version of, and I think that'd be a great way to use a lot of the talent that's mostly on dark and dark elevation, and have them a way to have more fleshed out storylines and just show up for matches and like kind of throwaway promos that they could really hone their craft and get more primed and ready for Dynamite when slots are more available on that show. So that's what I would like to see out of AEW. And kind of just touching on what you guys said, I'm with you that AEW definitely seems like they're too bloated at roster size. And, if they don't do that, like separate, at least bump like the more wrestlers that could use some more fine tuning into like that ROH style developmental brand, if that's what they can go with, I would like to see them probably at least trim like maybe of their roster, because there's at least a dozen guys where, okay, I see they could have been good for your vision talent for AEW, but they have their due date, and so definitely some roster trimming from AEW. I feel bad saying these guys need to lose their job, but I think it's pretty easy to tell some of the first ones that come to mind. And as far to see come on board, like I said, Briscoes, I'd like to see them on the main AEW roster. Definitely would benefit greatly for it. I'd like to see. I was ready for Cody. I was kind of booing Cody Rhodes on his last AEW appearances. It seemed like his time was well and done there. I'm curious to see at least the first couple of months how WWE will use him. Hopefully, if they trademark Vince McMahon filter on him, I think they could really. It's way more watchable and get rid of like the stuff that was really working several months in the company. So those are just a few things I think look forward to the next several months.
Did you see the report that well, I guess it would be Disney, that's who owns TBS and TNT now, I think, if I remember right, or is Discovery? It's one of the two. Somebody just bought up the parent companies, and then albeit AEW is basically run by those companies. But the report is that they do not want the Briscoes on their television space. So how would you sidestep that? Yeah. Well, you could still get them somehow.
I guess we're probably going back to like, well, Briscoes, I think. I don't watch ROH like regularly, like the last, like mostly their super shows here and there, but I want to say I think the ROH the haven't done anything too controversial, at least on their regular. But I know if you go through the Briscoes history, they have definitely had their red flag, that stuff that they wouldn't be able to get away with on like the big TV nation or global scene. But if that's why they wouldn't want EW television, I guess I can get that. But that something that's held themselves back, because I know I get mixed up, Jay or Mark. I know their social media postings go against them over the years, and they got their fair share of controversy. I'd hate to see it, but I guess I get it. Corporate America, they damage the brand and all that. But I guess I just thought they spent it. They said all the right things to recover from it. That all right. No, they earned a second chance to get a shot at in the mainstream. So that. But I get it if that's why they don't want them there.
Trying to confirm the information. I'm trying to help out Future Howard here with doing some quick research as I'm listening as well. Because we're all about the statistical and logistical and perfect information here on this show that's absolutely accurate all the time, because that's what we do here. or did Howard already?
No,
find
yeah,
it?
that was the first time I heard about that.
I had heard some.
Yeah, that's the first time I heard about that. But
Kidder, yeah, I've actually been looking at something else. Since you like to say that we always report accurately, I have some breaking news, Kidder. This just in, confirming and such, but Big D will be back on Beer Blues and BS in April. At least that's the message he said. And boy, if he doesn't show up, we will so hold it against him and taunt the hell out of him for the next few months. So I just want to
add
confirm,
a year on the back.
it's this April, Kidder. He says later this April, his wife is going out of the country for a little bit, and that he will have no qualms about staying up late and having a few beverages with us. So I'm announcing it now here on the show. And Kidder, I'm actually also sending him a voice message of this so that it's proof that it's on the show right now and the harassment has begun.
But did he actually specify a year?
No.
This April, because maybe this April could be 2023, 2028. I mean, that's his April. I don't know. Maybe April is his cousin. Could be anything.
It says end of April in his message. So I'm going to take him for his word on that. But Kidder, that's not the only breaking news. I had one other one that came across my phone, and actually, I saw it thanks to Brother Smalls. But this just kind of came through. But Taylor Hawkins, the longtime drummer of the Foo Fighters, has died at age 50. He was found in his hotel room in Bogota right before their show that was supposed to happen today. The Foo Fighters have announced or have put out an official statement saying the Foo Fighters family is devastated by the tragic and untimely loss of our beloved Taylor Hawkins. His musical spirit and infectious laughter will live on with all of us forever. Our hearts go out to his wife, children, and family, and we ask that their privacy be treated with the utmost respect in this unimaginably difficult time. No details have been released as to cause of death yet, but that just in. So,
big damn. Fighters are awesome. Yeah, there's a lot of big songs. Sonic Highways is just, that's the first thing that just came to mind when I was thinking of them. That documentary / album on how that all came to be. Yeah, just oh man, that sucks. Nothing but hearts out to the Foo Fighters family,
and also Avril Lavigne family, because was it Avril Lavigne? No, not
Alanis Morissette is who you're thinking of.
Yes, Alanis Morissette. Yeah, I just looked at the damn article when he sent it to me. So I mean, maybe Avril Lavigne fans and their family should be sad as well. I don't know. But Alanis Morissette, he was a drummer for Alanis Morissette some periods of time as well. So yeah, just the tragic news that we bring you here on the Triple B. On the plus side, let's a little bit of cheer, inject some happiness here. Your Colorado Avalanche have just completed 3 periods over there in Ball Arena and Denver, Colorado. And the Philadelphia Flyers finishing with a score of 3. Your Colorado Avalanche 6.
Also, Kidder, Big D has responded to that lovely voice message I just sent him of me announcing him on the show. And he says, yeah, like that's the reason you all taunt me. Needed any excuse to do so. So, yep, the harassment has started.
That he doesn't know dates and times?
Well, you're the one who's pushing this, that it's going to be longer. I mean, he was pretty clear end of April. Kidder, I don't know about you, but my beverage is out.
Yeah. Getting a little dry over here.
I think it's time for a What's on Tap round 2.
Well, I saw DK drinking one of them there Bud Lights. Very tasty beverage. You still on the Bud Light there, DK?
I'm Bud Light. I thought I had grabbed a Michelob Ultra from my bag here, but I grabbed a Bud Light from the fridge. Yes, good old. I like some craft brews, but I'm mostly a domestic beer. So yeah, Bud Light, Michelob Ultra, Busch Light. I keep it simple for the most part. You guys.
There's nothing wrong with that, because as Howard and faithful viewers of the show or listeners know that I keep my fridge stocked with some Bud Select. So, Howard Blues, are you bringing the pain one more time with the next beer that you have there, or do you have something better for yourself?
Kidder, I will put it this way: the can on this is plaid.
Okay, there, Maxwell.
That's right. I have a Bent Paddle Brewing Company beer. It is an American sour ale with blood orange and papaya that they have lovingly named, Kidder, and you'll appreciate this. And it's the whole reason I bought this, Kidder. It is the Wilderness Tuxedo. Yeah.
Straight out of Canada, eh?
Yeah, I mean it's even got buttons on that part. Yeah. Oh, let's see what else
That's
we got here
festive,
for
festive design.
Yep, out of Duluth, Minnesota, 5% alcohol by volume, and hey, this actually has some tasting notes. We love to dress to impress Mother Nature, and a button-up flannel is about as fancy as the wilderness needs us to be. We brewed an American kettle sour in the Berliner Weiss style to pair with blood orange and papaya. Easy going with a refreshing yet buttoned-up tartness. Our blood orange and papaya American sour will take you along on its own adventure. They are really, really laying into the fact that this can has a button-up shirt on it. So let's crack this one open. Not so much of a fruit smell with this Kidder, so maybe I'm okay. Maybe it won't be too fruity.
Maybe he's okay.
Mystery beer.
Let's yeah. Yeah, Kidder, that is a sour beer. Yeah, I'm not really picking up the orange or the papaya, but it is definitely sour and makes for a good, pucker face as you drink it. Not bad though. Not bad. It's not as bad as the Laughing Sun Space Probe Green I had a couple of weeks ago. That was not only sour and tart, but tasted like spruce. That was such a weird taste combination. This one, it's not so bad. Not really getting the fruit out, but it'll be okay. It'll be a good beer to finish off the night with. So that's what I got, Kidder. What do you got for round two?
Oh man, well let's delve into the fridge once again. Well, let's see. I'll give DK the pick on this since he's the special guest host this evening. We have an Ace Guava Craft Cider. We have the Angry Tiki, the Lilikai Capolo right here. A nice Hawaiian type beer, maybe. We'll figure that one out. Belgian, something or other.
Yep, which I've had on the show.
Which you've had on the show.
Mm-hmm.
This one?
Yep.
Okay.
Hey, Kidder, someone just rang the doorbell.
Who's that at the door? Dun, 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 dun. That's a callback to those who might be used to the old Late Late Show with Craig Ferguson, because he'd have a doorbell and then who's that at the door? So there's that. All right. Okay. So you had that one on the show. And then I have this Rind Over Matter. which is a wheat series. So I guess out of any of them here, or I could have a Bloody Mary. DK, what do you say?
Oh, God, I haven't heard much from the cider scene lately. So how about it? Was guava? Was that the name of it? The cider?
It is a guava flavored Ace.
Something like that?
So now that we have the choice, good choice there, DK. Let's bring it up here. It's from Ace Brewing Company, and it is the Guava Craft Cider. 5% alcohol by volume, 12 fluid ounces, 355 milliliters. They've been going since 1993 and going strong. Gluten-free and vegan, and there's no sugar added. Look at that from Ace Premium Craft Ciders. Tasting notes on this on the back. Oh, it's a Brazilian pink guava as well. So cider that was inspired by a trip to Brazil, where we enjoyed Brazil's national cocktail, the Caipirinha. I'm sorry, those who speak Spanish. Blended with their local guava juice. The guava juice was so refreshing that we knew we had to make a cider with it. Experience a taste of Brazil with Ace Guava, a blend of our semi-dry apple cider with Brazilian pink guava juice, fresh guava aroma, citrusy mouth feel. Yes, it actually says mouth feel on it. And a ridiculously smooth finish. You'll find it impossible to put down. Cheers! Or as they say in Brazil, Saúde, the House Brothers second generation Ace Cider Masters. So there's what I just read to you, which of course is absolutely in focus, because why wouldn't it be? Look at that. Nice and in focus. Absolutely crazy. So this is made in
Tasty
California. In Sonoma County, in fact. And please roll can gently before opening. So maybe I gotta roll it here. Oh boy. Just dropping it all over. All right, here we go. So it has an interesting scent to it. Interesting because I'm guessing it's how natural guava would smell, but I can't remember the last time I've had guava. So yeah, that's smooth. Yeah, so it has fermented apple juice, pink guava juice, malic acid, and sulfite for a preservative. So, yeah. All right. Well, there's that. Howard, do you have your beer? Or since someone was at the door, should we let them in?
Well, I did try and throw it to them so that we could introduce them, and we already have done my drink, Kidder. I'm getting a little worried.
You need another one.
I just started this one, Kidder. I'm going to blame
you have two hands.
Yeah. Anyway, you should introduce who came and joined us here.
Mm-hmm. The man of the hour, the reason that this whole show tonight exists, the reason being it's Fortunate Son Big Smalls right here. Not Big E Smalls, it's the Smalls. How the hell are you doing, Smalls?
Can you guys hear me?
Well, now we can.
Well, I am doing good at home.
Hey, son, you got to talk in the microphone there. Just go ahead now. Speaking in the microphone, you just go ahead and cut that promo.
I'm on my phone, so it might sound like shit, so I'm going to try to load up my laptop.
He's loading it up over there in El Forco Grande. There's the extent of my Espanol. You're welcome. I'll try not to do any more for the sake of this show. What?
Listen,
Howard shaking his head at me. What?
Well, now I have to apologize to all of our listeners in Mexico who haven't started listening to this show, but when they eventually get to this point, sorry. I apologize on behalf of everyone here at Beer Blues and BS for Kidder's insensitive comments.
What about the people in Central America? What about the people in Spain? You think about them? No, you don't care about them. You only care about the people in Mexico. What's wrong with you, Howard? It's like saying that you're going to be on the show next month, but by the end of April.
Man, Big D shows up on the show, is here for a little bit, and then, we cut him some slack, and you're just like, going to town, Kidder. But I think Brother Smalls was trying to show us what he's drinking this.
I'm trying this for.
So I'm getting on this.
He's going naked. Yes.
Looks like we got naked juice there.
I never had it.
Naked juice is all right. I tried doing the.
Good. Go ahead and describe it to us. They're Smalls.
It says no preservatives added, no sugar added, gluten-free, 2 1/4 apples, 1/4 mango, 1/2 bananas, 1/2 kiwi, 46 blueberries, 6 blackberries, and 1/5 of a red beet. I just want to hear my theme song.
Oh, you didn't hear that? I did that already. I can't. We don't have the rights to even do it once. You want us to take that risk of doing it twice? We already gave our money to you, Smalls. We can't afford any. Somebody's going to sue us, and we're like, help. What do you want us to do? Not talk?
I'll email Tony Khan to get the rights.
Yeah, I get Tony Khan to foot the bill. He's gets so many more entrance themes on. He's shilling the big bucks for it. I love it though. It makes it so much more fun.
And I going back to the other point before Brother Smalls joined us here this evening, I finally found the article, or at least one of them that I was looking for from earlier this month, that Discovery, the shareholders of Discovery, have approved a $43 billion with a B acquisition of Warner Media.
Okay. Yep.
So
yep.
There you go.
If I remember, I think it's all the Discovery Plus streaming service content is going to be max here in about several months. So that's going to be combined into one.
AT&T, Discovery, and Warner Media are all going to merge into one parent company. I don't know if this actually lists of what they're going to list their company as, but I'm guessing that it'll be Discovery Corporation, at least for a while. Kind of like what CBS, Viacom, Paramount did, where now it was Viacom and then Paramount and CBS, then it was CBS Viacom, and then Paramount came in, and again, they reorganized, and now it's going to be rebranded as Paramount. So, echo chamber.
Echo.
How do I get out of
Steve, I think you need to get it off. Yeah, you got.
But if we had the multi-view where we could actually see all of the windows like we see, we could have seen Smalls staring at himself. It was great. It was like the Matrix or Inception or something. Hit the red hang up.
Or just
you got removed. Howard booted your ass. You know what I got to say to that, Smalls? You asked me to call somebody.
I think this is a lot better now.
Mm-hmm.
Good.
You're not moving in Mr. Roboto tunes anymore.
No.
So welcome to the show, Brother Smalls, the first time on the Triple B. How does it feel?
It feels like that time, you know what I'm talking about, Kidder?
When you were in the bathroom?
Time? No. You know what time I'm always talking about.
Is it clobbery time?
No.
Oh, time has come today?
No, I think if you look below on your shirt,
Oh, one of those times.
yeah.
I know.
Howard's been trying to get me to say that for like a year.
No, you said it on the show.
Back, I know what you're talking about. I know what you're
I
talking
know.
about. I
One of my claims to fame.
haven't in a long time. That is
The funny
awesome.
I
thing
have
about
taken the radio stations off the air in 3 different instances after saying it or while saying the said phrase. Just lightning strikes, man. You can't keep that in a bottle. It's money. It's like dollar, dollar, bling, bling. Cut the cheddar. You know what I'm saying?
You got to ride that lightning.
And I mean, if this keeps going, we're going to end up fading to black pretty soon. I hear Small's trying to play stuff, but he's going to get us kicked off YouTube at this rate.
No.
DMCA is going to get all
I own
pissed.
rights to that.
Smalls owns all the rights to CCR music. Just fortunate son. When did you buy that license? Because we need to put it on the bottom of the screen here so that when the DMCA gets pissed off, we can tell them to point the comments and fines towards Smalls.
I bought it off of Napster.
All right. Was it labeled Lincoln Park in the end MP4?
No, Collins in the air tonight.
Oh, you got a good one. Okay. Maybe that didn't give your computer AIDS then. I mean, the webcam at least works, but maybe it's just China spying on you.
It's Russia.
Oh. Soviet Russia spy on you. Yes. Well, remember that in Soviet Russia, drum bang you. So, calm down, comrade. It's fine. What you got over there, dude? He's the camera's flying off the ropes. It's flying over there. It's flying off the here. It's going all over the place. Smalls is just.
Oh, I just gotta plug in my power supply so it doesn't go dead.
Got to power plug it in, man. You got to get the juice into the laptop.
Everyone, it's Future Howard here with Future Kidder, and you might be wondering, wait, why are they stopping the show? Well, let me just tell you, we had such a great time talking to DK and to Smalls that we recorded for like 4 hours. And you know what? As much as Kidder always likes to say, it's our show. We could put out a 4-hour show if we wanted. I got some limits here. So we're gonna cut this episode. We're gonna make it a 2-parter. And basically, we will then share the second part of this, not next week. I know that's what you would think would be the logical thing, but you see, next week happens to be the 1-year anniversary of Beer Blues BS. So we're going to do a little something special for that. And so in this case, Kidder, they've been talking for quite a while. I guess you and I have to wrap it up with some cheap plugs.
Where we're going, we don't need no stinking time limits. All right. Yes. Beerbluesbs.com. That's where we're going. Beerbluesbs.com, our home in cyberspace. Please visit us there. Beerbluesbs.com. While you're there, you click the merch button. You can check out the sweet merch and pick up some sweet swag and look super fine while you're watching or listening to this show, perhaps on YouTube, perhaps on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and many other more. Yes, many other more places to find it. Yes, many more places. I know how to English, I promise. So visit us, beerbluesbs.com, and search your favorite app store app, I guess, audio app, video app, Beer, Blues, and BS. Search it right there and you'll find it. Please subscribe. Please like us. Like on Facebook. Yes, like us there and follow the show. So for this extended episode that we are breaking into 2 glorious parts. Yes, glorious! Join us again in 2 weeks for the next episode, the continuation part 2 of this episode for Beer, Blues, and BS. Yes, he's Howard Blues. I'm the man, the myth, the legend, Mark Kidder. Thanks for joining us for this awesome edition of the show. Remember, keep your glass always at least half full. There's free beer tomorrow, and we will catch you on down the old dusty Tuscan highway. Remember, next week, 1 year, baby! Woo! And then the following week, the continuation, epic conclusion of this episode. Thanks again. Have a good one.
You have been listening to a UA production of Beer, Blues, and BS. If you enjoyed the show, help others find out about it by rating the show or leaving a review at your podcast listening service of choice. Thanks for listening, and may your glass never be empty. UA Productions presents A Glimpse Behind the Curtain.
So, here, when you were on our YouTube channel, did you notice anything had changed?
I literally logged in, and then that I saw it was successful. I started logging into my other stuff. What did you do?
I mean, I'm not gonna say I did anything, but you know,
that sounds sketchy as hell.
you know,
You being sketchy.
You know, it's one of those. You know, if you look around, if you dig around long enough, you might find something. But
If I dig around long enough.
Mhm.
So, would you change the profile picture or something? Well, I know you're not going to tell me now, so
think of it as a scavenger hunt.
yeah. Why would you tell me? Come on,
Well, you know,
dick.
Scavenger hunt.
He changed something on the YouTube page, and he's like, "Oh, did you notice anything?" I'm like, "No,
Mhm.
no, I
Mhm.
didn't."
And see, now I have it recorded. And I'll throw that in the behind the curtain, and you know, everybody will start looking for what got changed.
So you're not doing it for me; you're doing it for the audience benefit. Send them on the page and get some more views, clicks, and subscribes. That's what you're really doing, isn't it?
No, although that's a nice benefit of what I am doing. But
You're
you
killing me.
let's see, won't be this Friday or this next Friday. It has something to do with the 1 year anniversary. So
Mhm.
mhm.
Did you turn everything?
Happy 1 year anniversary of
like
the show.
silver?
Woo!
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, I may have done something, Gitter.
I know you did something. You're just not, owning up to what it is. And now I'm gonna have to sit here while we're doing the show and search through, and then go, was it this? This looks different. And you go, no, that's been there for 6 months. And I go, well, okay, so it wasn't that, but is it this? And you're like, no, that's been there for 3 months. And then it just continues.
It's like what I used to do to Lane when he worked for me.